Hey everyone! So I just want to take a few minutes of your time and share a little bit with you. I want to expand a little bit on what Andrea talked about. She did an awesome job at explaining what a Beachbody coach is and what we're not. And like I said, I just wanted to kind of expand on that a little bit. For me, what it all boils down to is connections. What this is all about is reaching out and connecting with people. So that can be potential customers, it could be just people in general who are struggling, or people that have similar likes as you, have a lot in common with you, or with other coaches. And as we all know, there's lots of different ways to reach out and to make that connection and to build relationships with people, right? One of probably the easiest ways to do this, and one of the ones that have the furthest reach, is through social media platforms. And what those are, before you guys get all freaked out, are things like Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, things like that. And we could really talk about this for days and days and days and days. There's actually like business courses on using social media. There's actually probably a science behind it all. But before you guys get all freaked out, I'm going to just kind of run down some very simple tips, just to give you kind of an idea of how we can use this powerful tool to make those connections with people and to build those relationships, because at the end of the day, that's what this is all about. We're all people who like to help others by nature. I can just tell by, some of your posts and just from what I know of all of you. And, that's at the end of the day, that's what this is about, right? So the social media platform that I'm going to talk about with you is Facebook, and that's because it's probably the one that we are all most familiar with. It's the one that I'm most familiar with, and also Andrea. And you guys know, obviously, probably that's maybe how you got to know us all a little bit better. So I just want to chat about that for a few minutes. So Facebook is a great tool to get yourself out there. And that's really the number one thing I want to talk to you about, is being yourself. You want to put yourself out there, talk about who you are, what you like on Facebook, because that's how you bring people in that you can connect with, that speak to you, that find things in common with you, because those are the people that you're going to be able to build these relationships with. So for example, I like coffee. You guys probably all know that. I maybe have a bit of a problem, so that's what I post about. I have 2 little kids, so that's what I post about. I like to do crafts, so that's what I post about. I feel very passionate about a few different organizations, one being Project MediShare, the Emo Lions. Like, I like to do a lot in my community, so that's what I post about. And I hate to do dishes, so that's what I post about. You really want people to relate to you, just to the awesome person that you are, and you would never even in your wildest dreams imagine what some of your posts can mean to people. We live in this crazy world where we all think that we need to be perfect and not be real, and as soon as you see somebody posting real truth and who they are from here, right, from their heart, it's so refreshing and it makes you feel better, right? It's like, hey, you know what, it's okay that I didn't do my dishes and my kids ate peanut butter sandwiches for supper. You know what? Other people do it too, and we don't all have to be perfect, right? So be yourself, put yourself out there. The other thing is you want to share the Beachbody programs that you're using, the ones, the nutrition plans that you're following, the products that you're using, the workouts that you're doing. You want people to see that. Number one, this is not toot your horn, look what I did, oh boy. Well, sometimes it is, but really and truly, it's putting it out there so that people know that real people just like them can do these things. Basically, it's all about connecting, showing people that they can do it, and just really putting it out there. And make sure it's the things that you love. Don't try and talk about something that you hate or you haven't tried or you think is silly, because you know what? People can smell a fake miles away. We want you to share things that you're crazy about that have worked for you, and share them with other people. And build that connection, help other people out. just for an example, I tried really hard to like size, but I didn't. So you don't see me talking a lot about it because I actually really didn't enjoy it that much. Not that I didn't have fun doing some live sessions with Andrea, but for me, I concentrate too much on trying to be perfect at the moves, and I just don't enjoy it. So I talk about PiYo because I love it. I talk about Body Beast because I freaking love it. And I talk about some of the performance line because I love them, and I talk about Shakeology because I love them. So be real, be yourself, and put it out there, and make sure that you're sharing what works for you. So we've talked a little bit about what to post. The next thing is a little bit more of the logistics. So you do want to be posting fairly frequently. This is a bit of the science of it, but posts kind of don't just go out there and are available for people to see. What happens is there's kind of this crazy algorithm that Facebook uses. So if you don't post very often, when you put a post out, it kind of just goes poof, and maybe a couple people see it, and then that's it. Whereas if you're a more frequent poster, what happens is Facebook kind of grabs your post and holds on to it and makes sure that lots of people get to see it. So you do want to post fairly frequently. A kind of a ballpark number would be 3 to 4 times a day. Okay? And then when do you post? Well, you want to think about when you yourself are on Facebook. So the most common times tend to be kind of earlier in the morning before work. Sometime in the afternoon around lunchtime, you think about yourself. You've got a few minutes, you might sit and scroll through Facebook, right? And then later on in the evening around this time, after kiddos have gone to bed and people are kind of sitting and relaxing and de-stressing from the day. So that's kind of when you want to try and put posts out there. I mean, don't stress about it too much. Sometimes you have the urge to post something, something's happened, you've locked your freaking keys in your car like I do probably once a month. So I feel sometimes I have to post that, right? So be organic, don't stress about it, but just kind of keep some of these concepts in the back of your mind. Now, you always want to be thinking about what this whole purpose is, right? And the purpose is to make connections with people. So when people comment on your posts, when they like your posts, you want to take note of that, and you want to give them something back. Like, think about yourself, that when you've put out a post and people have funny things to say or they're congratulating you, that means a lot, right? So you want to make sure that you're engaging with people. Interacting with them, commenting with them, building those relationships, right? And so then that brings me to the next thing, is you do want to set aside some time to interact with people, so that you're not just throwing things out to Facebook, but you're also engaging to what's already there. So taking some time to scroll through and read people's posts, like them, comment on them. But again, don't be fake. Comment on things that speak to you, that people that speak to you, that you connect with. You want to be kind of watching for people who are talking about struggling in some way that you maybe have answers for. So people that are maybe struggling with losing weight, or frustrated because they can't get to the gym, or are looking for a way to do meal plans. Kind of watch for that and engage with people with that. And make sure that you, again, are commenting and liking posts. And I would suggest that you set aside a certain amount of time to do this, because it's very easy to get lost in Facebook, right? All of a sudden you look and it's 8 o'clock, and then you're on Facebook and all of a sudden it's 11 o'clock and you've accomplished nothing, right? So you do want to kind of limit yourself, but you do want to make sure you're not just vomiting out into Facebook, that you're also engaging and bringing in as well. And that brings me to another point. You think about yourself, think about what catches your eye. You want to make sure that you're posting, nice pictures. You don't want posts that are too long, because I don't spend the time to read them. And you want to think about things that make you stop scrolling, right? Because otherwise it's just flick, 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 flick. You need to catch people's attention. You don't want to be vomiting Beachbody. I know that even myself, if I'm scrolling through Facebook and I see, P90X is on sale this month for $25 off, message me, get on this train. I just scroll right by that. It's just fluff. It's just an ad. I'm probably not going to respond to that. So what you want, though, is to talk about how these products have impacted you. You want to bring a person and a life and all those good things to these products rather than just being an advertising billboard, because people just ignore that, right? And then that brings me to one last point that I just want to mention, that right, we're all about building connections. So you want to think about messaging people. And it can be very simple. It's just about starting a conversation. Again, you're not going to be vomiting Beachbody all over these people, messaging all the people on your list that you haven't talked to for 10 years and say, hey, I'm a Beachbody coach. Do you want to join up and do the 21-day fix with me? Right? That's creepy. A good way to think about it is when you're dating someone, right? When you go out with someone on that first date, you don't just all of a sudden say, hey, you know what, this is great, why don't we get married, right? That doesn't work. That freaks people out. You want to build that relationship first. So, you know what, just reach out. Someone that you went to high school with that you haven't talked to for a little while, hey, you know what, I see, you got married last year, like, how are things going? I haven't talked to you for so long. And you know what, when you're excited about things, when you're passionate about things, the conversation will organically kind of come around to what you have to offer them. And you know what, if people aren't interested, that's fine. You know what, you just move on, still engage, whatever, but don't stress about it. Just remember that you're just building connections with people and you're talking about things that have worked for you, things that make you excited. End of the day, best advice is, number one, be yourself. Number two, be excited about something and talk about what works for you and just build those connections. And you know what? That's really what this business is all about. Hopefully I've given you some insight, and thanks for spending some time with me. Take care.